You've probably heard it 1,000 times. In order to be successful, you have to be consistent. But if you're anything like our clients and our members here at Body Brain Alliance, your next question probably is, okay, but how? While people on the internet and self-help gurus are very quick to encourage and emphasize consistency, there's very few people out there who are actually explaining how it works and giving you any kind of clue as to how to actually get there. Luckily, that's exactly what I'm gonna do in today's video. Hi, my name is Dr. Karin Nordin, and I'm a PhD level expert in behavior change and mindset. And I'm here to bring you the real science behind self-help. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's dive right into it. I am going to talk to you about 4 things that you're doing differently from a consistent person. Because, spoiler alert, in order to become a consistent person, you have to learn to think like one. So let's dive into 4 ways that your current thought patterns might be different than someone who actually is consistent. Number 1, consistent people are not stressed about the fact that they didn't get the behavior done yesterday. For the purposes of this video, let's say that the behavior you want to be consistent about is going on a daily walk. I want you to think about if you were a person who truly went for a walk pretty much every single day. If that were true, and you skipped a day, let's say it was raining outside, let's say it was really gross, let's say you just forgot, would you be stressed about it? No, of course not, because you know that you're always going to go back to it the next day. You know that when you zoom out and look at the year as a whole, that's a behavior you're doing on a regular basis. It's the people who are inconsistent, who don't do their walk yesterday, and then stress about it today because it's reinforcing a pattern that already exists in their head about them not being consistent. The way to break this pattern, the way to separate yourself, and the way to actually become a person who is consistent is to work on letting go of the stress and the drama when you don't do a behavior the day before. It's very easy to ruminate about it. So try, number 1, just noticing and naming when you are in that state of sort of mental cycling. Your brain is going all around in circles about how you didn't do it yesterday. All I want you to do is take a deep breath, notice it, maybe say to yourself, I'm ruminating right now, I don't need to be, and let it go. That brings me to point number 2. People who are consistent, people who genuinely get things done in their lives, not only are they not worried about what they did yesterday, they're also not planning tomorrow too much. They are focused on the day they are in. So going back to our walk example, you would wake up in the morning and instead of thinking about how you're gonna get your walk done on Thursday or Friday, instead of trying to move around things in your week or things in your day, what you would do is simply think to yourself, when is my walk getting done today? When am I doing my walk today? When can I squeeze in 15 minutes outside today? By asking yourself that question and treating walking as a non-negotiable, you're going to develop a sense of consistency with it. And that is actually how people who are consistent think. When they are grounded in the moment, when they are focused on mindfulness, when they are focused on how to problem solve and get a behavior done today, they become better at anticipating and dealing with obstacles. And that's how consistency is actually established. It's not established by avoiding obstacles altogether. It's established when you learn to navigate and deal with them. And that brings me to thing number 3 that consistent people are doing differently than you, which is that they are experts at scaling behaviors up and down when their lives change. We as humans have dynamic lives. Our circumstances are always changing. We're always encountering different barriers, different obstacles, different things that we need to think about. It's interesting because consistent people, you might think, are more rigid than other people. They're getting it done no matter what. But the truth is, consistent people are actually more cognitively flexible than other people. That means that the walk might be 5 minutes one day and 45 minutes the next day. The walk might be in the neighborhood one day and at a local park the next day. They are able to be flexible with their habits in order to get that check mark of having the habit done. Versus people who aren't consistent tend to be more all or nothing thinkers. They tend to be more perfectionistic. So if they tell themselves, I'm gonna do a 15-minute walk every single day, and they only have 11 minutes, a person who's consistent will do that walk anyway. A person who's inconsistent will use that as an opportunity to skip it. Now, in the comments, I would love to know, what is one behavior you're trying to be more consistent with? And how can you be more flexible with that behavior to allow it to work within your life when different things are going on and when your life fluctuates in terms of difficulty? Last thing, and this is probably the most important one, is that research shows that people who are consistent with behaviors have more joy that comes from doing those behaviors. In other words, they're more intrinsically motivated. A lot of us who struggle with consistency are partially struggling because we're only doing this behavior because we think we should. We don't actually enjoy the act of doing it. So let's go back to our walk example. Maybe you've seen some influencer who goes for her daily walk every morning, and that makes you think that you need to do one too. If that's you, I'm here to remind you that you need to come up with your own reasons for going for that walk. When you go for that walk, you need to redirect your brain to the parts of it that you genuinely are enjoying. The more you focus and amplify the enjoyment, the more you focus and amplify your intrinsic desire to do that behavior, the more consistent you'll actually become. Now, this could go really deep into the science of motivation, which I'm not going to cover in this video. But if you're interested in learning how to develop intrinsic motivation so you can become a person who truly wants to do those healthy things that, quite frankly, you know you should be doing, I highly recommend checking out our membership. There's a 3-day trial available in the link in the description, and we have a library of over 24 different self-help workshops, including how to generate motivation. This is a skill that most people have never been taught. It's a science most people don't understand, but it's one of those things that once you learn it is going to make an enormous impact in your life. So make sure to check it out. Otherwise, you can take a look at this previous video that we've done on motivation specifically if you're looking for more info about that. Above all, I would encourage you to ask yourself more frequently, especially when you're experiencing stress or anxiety or frustration about your ability to be consistent. How would a consistent person think about this situation? How would a consistent person treat themselves? Because the more you think like one, the easier it will be to become one. I'll see you in the next video.